President Bola Tinubu has advised United States presidential envoy to ensure that U.S. policy is intentionally collaborative with independent African democracies. President Tinubu will receive the U.S. presidential envoy and Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, Molly Feet. The presidential villa says he has accepted the invitation to meet the President Joe Biden on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly on Saturday. TVC State House correspondent Femi Akonde reports.
This meeting was not just about inviting President Bola Tinubu to meet U.S. President Joe Biden at the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly. It was also about deepening bilateral ties and strengthening relations that dates back to many decades ago. President Bola Tinubu advised the visiting U.S. presidential envoy to ensure that U.S. policy is intentionally collaborative with independent African democracies at a time when they are under assault by anti-democratic forces within and outside of the continent. The president also pointed out that the American-backed development finance and multilateral institutions, which were designed to support war-torn Europe after World War II, requires swift and comprehensive reform to meet the developmental requirements of younger democracies in Africa, which operate in authoritarian, crowded environments, such that the legitimate yearnings of Africans would no longer be manipulated to serve the narrow aims of self-seeking demagogues through unconstitutional takeovers of power. Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs summarizes what was discussed at the high-powered bilateral meeting.
The economy, so business. We're looking at, of course, security concerns. That's the elephant in the room. You know, what's happening in our region, what's happening in Niger, and, you know, other things. The return to democracy and normalcy is paramount. The security concerns in the region also very important. Both sides are pleased. Of course, we're going to Anga, so there will be sideline meetings there also to continue along the same lines.
President Tinubu told his visitor that the crisis in Niger Republic would not deter him from concluding his economic reform program successfully for the benefit of Nigerians, and assured that he will only advance the interests of the Nigerian state in the way ECOWAS handles the regional standoff. The U.S. presidential envoy pledged support for the position of ECOWAS and emphasized the high regard the U.S. administration has for the leadership of the chairman of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, President Bola Tinubu, and also extended an exclusive invitation from the U.S. president to meet on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in New York to advance discussions further.
Let's now turn our attention to the Niger Delta, where the federal government is seeking partnership with local communities to protect the nation's oil and gas infrastructure and assets. National Security Advisor Nuhu made the call when he led other top officials in the sector and service chiefs on an inspection tour of oil pipelines and facilities in Rivers State. Senior correspondent Uche Okoro reports.
The National Security Advisor, Minister of State for Petroleum, Minister of Defense, the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, and the Chiefs of Defense and Air Staff are some of the dignitaries on this high-powered government delegation. They arrived at the Air Force Base in Port Harcourt and proceeded to Okwa West local government area of Abia State. Their mission was to witness firsthand the extent of pipeline vandalism and to assess the performance of the contractor handling security for these critical national assets. Along the route of a pipeline in Owaza community in Abia State, several illegal connections were spotted. The same evidence of criminal activity was seen at Oil Mining Lease 11 in Eche local government area of Rivers State, where the wellhead was vandalized. The government says these acts of sabotage have caused huge economic losses for the country and life-threatening environmental damage to the host communities.
We have seen it unbelievable, where so much money is spent to build an infrastructure for the common good of all. individuals will come in and destroy it.
The current government hopes to pick up from where past administrations stopped in the fight against oil theft and artisanal refining of crude. Much of the strategies have depended on anti-vandalism operations of the military and other security agencies. But in taking stock of progress made so far, attention is shifting to the role of community members in ending the menace.
Please, all of us, let's come together and say enough is enough.
The National Security Advisor and his team say they'll report their findings to President Bola Tinubu, who, according to them, is committed to protecting and maximizing the potentials of the country's oil and gas resources. Uche Okoro, TVC News, Eche.
In Bayelsa State, DonaldTheo-Iruoo has been elected as the new chairman of the Opu-Nembe Chiefs Council, a Nembe Local Government. This follows weeks of unrest in the area, which is now calm. Joseph Kunde has the details.
After weeks of unrest in Opu-Nembe, normalcy seems to have returned as some exiled chiefs and displaced natives return gradually to the community. 61 chiefs are in attendance at the community town hall meeting as the leaders converge to decide on resolutions aimed at achieving sustainable peace in the kingdom. A motion for the dissolution of the former council executives led to the emergence of DonaldTheo-Iruoo as the new chairman of the Opu-Nembe Council of Chiefs.
The agenda of this current executive is to see that we restore peace. We will not go on vendetta movement, but we will focus on rebuilding this community.
What led to this process was a vote of no confidence passed on the former executive council by the community, not only the Chiefs Council, by the entire community.
Commitment to the resolution of unity and even development is the watchword for the 14-man executives inaugurated at the meeting.
Former youth president is in the hands of the DSS. We want to appreciate if the DSS will expedite their actions and then return him back to the police so that the police can finish what they have started.
It is so incompetent. It supports too much evil. So we passed a vote of no confidence on the executive, and it has been dissolved, a new one elected.
While many await the Congress for a new youth leadership, natives believe the continued presence of security operatives will deter any further violence in the community. Joseph Kunde, TVC News, Nembe.
And members of the Kwankwasiya movement in Kano State have offered special prayers for peace in the state. The delegation was led by the national leader of the New Nigeria's People's Party, Rabiu Kwankwaso, in company of the state governor, Abba Yusuf. TVC News correspondent Ibrahim Isa reports.
Members of the Kwankwasiya movement offering prayers for peace and stability in Kano State. They converge on Pili Mahaha to conduct their 2 rakat prayers. National leader of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Rabiu Kwankwaso, arrives in company of the state governor, Abba Yusuf, and his deputy, Amina Abdusalam. Other members of the Kwankwasiya movement are present to offer prayers ahead of the yet-to-be-announced Governorship Election Petition Tribunal judgment. Shortly after leading the prayers, Chief Imam of Open Nasarawa Mosque, Sani Ashir, explains that supplications were made for God to give the state government the wisdom to do more projects and programs in the state.
We pray here today to express our thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to granting us victory in the 2023 general election. We gather here today to thank Allah for keeping our community safe, for keeping our state secured.
The Kano State Election Petition Tribunal had on Monday, 21st of August, reserved judgment in a petition filed by the All Progressives Congress (APC), challenging the victory of Governor Abba Yusuf of the New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP).
The Abba Kabir Yusuf's-led government calls on residents to continue praying for peace and stability to be achieved in the state. Ibrahim Isa, TVC News, Kano.